Hi everybody, this is Kevin and doing something slightly more different today. As you can see, we've got Andrew Norris all the way from Croatia. And I think, Andrew, you're in the village, are you?
I am in the village, yes. We've been
Yeah.
here a couple of weeks now
Okay.
because it's the season for collecting the apples, and we've been milling apples today to turn into brandy in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And then next week we'll be collecting all the apples off the trees and making juice out of it.
Oh, lovely. That's lovely. So is this something you do every year?
Every couple of years because the trees get exhausted
Ah, right.
producing
Okay.
so much fruit. So
Yeah, yeah.
we can only do it every couple of years.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Sure,
it's
sure.
fantastic juice, really.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when we were messaging earlier on, so you're milling the apples, and you're not milking the
Not
apples.
milking the apples. No, that was the spell correction, messing around.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me, how long have you been living in the village now?
We bought this house about 16 years ago. And, from then we came regularly, but I only started really filming about 10, 11 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've seen lots of videos that you've made, because you're quite a prolific video maker, and you're documenting your life in Croatia. But a lot of the people that this will be going out to, I'm hoping, is that it's going to bring new people to you. So can you just give the new people coming to you an idea of what made you go to Croatia and what made you want to stay there?
Well, how I came here originally is a very long story, but I'll give you the succinct version.
Yeah.
Back in February 1992, I by chance saw an exhibition in Covent Garden of photographs of destroyed cultural monuments. And I was really shocked by that. And I was particularly shocked because I had just spent 3 years painting, drawing, photographing the construction of the National Gallery extension, Sainsbury Wing. So I'd watched this cultural monument be growing from a hole in the ground to the finished building. And then I'd managed to put on a big exhibition of all the pictures and drawings and photographs in the building centre. And I'd taken a friend around that exhibition to show them it. And we'd parted company, and then I was walking through Covent Garden, and just out of the corner of my eye, I saw a photograph, a picture at the end of a corridor. And this was in the photographer's gallery. And I'd recognized a picture from a newspaper article that a colleague of mine had written a few days before in the Financial Times. So I thought, okay, I'll go in and have a look. And I saw this exhibition, and given the context, I was shocked by it. And so I said to myself, I must go to this country. It's called Croatia. What do I know about Croatia? Nothing. So I took a note of all the people on the credit panel and systematically went through the list of people and phoned them up. And I eventually got to the woman who'd organized the exhibition. And I said to her, I've seen the exhibition, the pictures. I'm a painter. I would like to go to your country. I'll pay for it all myself. I just need an introduction. And so she said, call me back in 2 days, which is what I did. And by which time she'd spoken to a man called Ante Soric, who was a director of the main museum section in Zagreb. And he welcomed the idea. And within 2 months, I was in Zagreb.
All right.
And he gave me a wonderful studio in a medieval bell tower. He gave me a car, a driver, and a translator, and we all went driving around the countryside. And because the driver was a soldier, we were able to get beyond checkpoints. And we used this occasion also to deliver provisions to outlying villages, to families there. So I took that opportunity of making drawings and taking photographs. And then I came back to England after a couple of weeks in Zagreb. And I spent 9 months building up a body of work to exhibit. And I managed to get a vacant shop in Marylebone High Street. I contacted the estate, the Howard de Walden estate, and asked them if I could borrow it. I don't think they really knew what I was going to use it for, how I would transform interior of the shop, because when I got it, I put all my paintings around the wall. A lot of the photographs that I'd seen in the original exhibition, I borrowed as well. And then I got this lighting system of light bulbs, and I draped it across the floor. So all the works were lit from below to give a kind of dramatic atmosphere. And then I covered the floor with debris netting and bricks and stone and burnt piece of wood. So when people were coming in, they were stepping gingerly across the floor as if it had been a bombed out location.
Yeah.
You know, after that exhibition finished, I felt this tremendous anticlimax. I thought, you know, there must be something more. You know, my emotions had been really heightened by this experience. So I contacted this woman again. I mean, we were still in contact. And she had set up a trust to raise money to help pay for the restoration of a lot of these cultural monuments, which were and still were being damaged and destroyed during the war. And so we devised an auction at Bonham's auction house, and we invited a lot of people to submit and donate artworks, and I donated a painting, and I got the highest price for one of my paintings at that particular time that I'd ever got. So I was very pleased about that.
Yeah.
And then I just kept my interest in the country, and I kept visiting it again and again during the war, because I'd made several contacts there. And then I started teaching myself the language while I was working. And in 1997, I kind of reached a plateau with the language. So I left my job. I had a wonderful job with the Royal Institute of British Architects in a wonderful 18th century house. I left that job, and then I went to London University to study the language, literature and history for theoretically 4 years, but it took me 5 years, because the year abroad I spent in Sarajevo, the first half in Sarajevo, and then after about 5 months, I left there to come back to Zagreb, because I found it really quite difficult. It's an amazing place, incredible people there, but I found that the experience quite emotionally difficult. So I came back to Zagreb to recuperate, and then I stayed on for another year. So I went back to my faculty in, I think it was 2001, 2002. And I finished my final year, and then the day after my last exam, I flew back out here, and I wasn't sure if I was going to stay here or what would I do. Should I go back to London, try and find a job? And then I found a little dog on the street, and she was living between two rows of shopping trolleys, and it took me about 3 days to coax her out. And when she did eventually come out to go and have a pee or something, I just picked her up and then carried her home. And so that was the reason why I stayed in this country.
Yeah. But then
so I built a life for myself here.
Yeah. But then you met somebody from Croatia, and you married her.
Yeah, I met Jasna the year after, and whenever I give the chronology of events, I always say that I found the dog before I found my wife. Yeah.
It's a lovely story, but it's amazing what the different emotions that war can bring out in people.
It was extraordinary. When I was here the first time in April 1992, I was staying in the hotel in town, and luckily I realized soon on that the price of the room was going up every day. So I paid for my whole duration immediatly. But at night, when I would go to bed, I would, have the window open because it was quite warm, and you could hear the shells and the gunfire going off, and that was 30 kilometers away. The
Wow.
front line.
Yeah.
And the village here was only a few kilometers away. And I made a series of 3 films where I interviewed a lot of the people in the village about what it was like under the war conditions. And then when the last major operation occurred in August 95, they've just celebrated 25 years since Oluya, it's called, Operation Storm. And that's what really finished the war.
Yeah.
But
But during your time in the village, I know that you've been going around and you've been documenting the lives of the people there, and as you've said before on some of your videos, that sadly, a lot of the people that you first met when you went to the village, they've now passed away.
Well, this is it. I mean, I didn't intend to do this project, but when we had the new roof put on the house and the facade, I got a cheap little video camera and I recorded the works that they were doing. But around that time, at the oldest house in our village, which is 50 meters up the road, where some friends of ours bought, there was a lovely lady called Baka Yella, Grandma Yella. And I asked her one day if she would let me just film inside the house. I was imagining, you know, all this kind of village craft and cottage industry. I was actually very disappointed. It was nothing like that.
Mm.
But within 3 months of my making this recording of her and talking about her house, she moved out to go to live with her daughter in another village. And I realized then that after 80 years of occupation, things were changing rapidly. And I thought I must record as much as I can. You know, we'd already been here about 5 years, so I'd built up a friendship with a lot of people. And it takes time to develop that trust with people if you're then going to go around and put a camera in their face.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
I mean, whenever I filmed, I always had the camera here. I never held it up to my eyes so that I could look them in the eye as I was talking to them and just kind of film them discreetly, which is, you know, how they all look so natural.
Yeah, but it's very important. It's very important for these things to be documented. Otherwise, they're going to be lost forever.
Well, there's something about village industry, village culture, which is rapidly being lost. And because the village at the moment is seen as kind of slightly derogatory, you know, everyone wants to go to the city and, you know, earn a living, you know, get a job of some kind, which I can understand because there's not a lot to do here apart from a bit of agriculture. And, you know, in this day and age, you know, as we know from Richard's expectations and, you know, from what he's been finding out, it's very difficult to find small people who are able to make a living. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, absolutely. We went to our neighbor on the top of the hill and we bought wonderful potatoes and garlic, fantastic garlic. And most of the garlic in the supermarkets here is from China. And so I absolutely refuse to buy any of that stuff. But where we can, we buy what we can from the few villagers who are still growing things.
Still growing stuff, yeah.
But you're right about this culture. It does need to be recorded. And I've been trying for 10 years, you know, to record it and get people interested. I've been giving lectures. I've been having film nights in the village here. I gave a nice lecture at the British Embassy about 3 years ago, but you know, nothing further came from that. I've done quite a few television appearances where I've talked about what I'm doing and my painting as well. That's also a very important part of my life. But
it is because you've got, I think, is it 2 YouTube channels or 3 YouTube channels?
I have 3, but the third one is for music, but I don't really use that one now because it's getting a bit complicated to keep in touch with both. But I have my first YouTube channel is, you know, now for music and art films and poetry and things like that. My second one is exclusively for the village. Yeah.
Well, let's hope that you know, we'll have to try and get you the links for your YouTube channel. I'll try and edit them into this, or if not, I can do a little piece. A written piece where we can put the links into your YouTube channels, then hopefully we'll get some more subscribers for you.
Certainly the village one, I would like to promote more about the village more rather than myself, although I'm included in the village.
Well, you're famous enough, Andrew, aren't you?
Well, this is it. You know, I don't want too many people knocking on my door.
Well, you and I met, I think, for the first time, actually met and shook hands just about a year ago, or just over a year ago.
Wasn't it in January that we did the walk with Richard?
Was it January?
I think. How many walks have we been on together with Richard? One. Then I think was it the one at Devil's Dyke?
Devil's Dyke.
That was, I think, in January.
Oh, okay. So that's January. So that's longer ago than what I thought then. But you know, in a funny sort of way, through the internet and because you know we were introduced really through the Ball Explorer group, which is run by our friend Richard Vokes. And there was 1 or 2 messages back and forth between you and I. We became Facebook friends. And then yes, in January, as you say, that's when we met for the first time, and you had a couple of your friends with you. Kim Murden was one,
And Sid,
who
yeah,
I've just yesterday become friends with on Facebook. And
excellent.
you had another friend with you, and I can't remember his name.
Sydney.
Sydney, that's right. Yeah. But the Devil's Dyke Walk is a fabulous place to walk, and when you get the weather, which we didn't have, it was a bit muddy underfoot, wasn't it, in places?
Well, it was a bit muddy, but the sun was out, and it was a very pleasant day, and there were a
Absolutely. Yeah.
great bunch of people. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I find with the Ball Explorer walks. They are great fun, and they're like-minded people, and everybody gets on so well.
I know, and people are just itching to get to that Richard resumes these walks.
Yeah.
I would even fly over just for the walk.
Oh,
But now we have this quarantine problem, unfortunately.
Yes, yeah.
That
Your mother lives in England, doesn't she?
She lives in Surrey, yes.
Yeah. But when you come back, you spend time with your mum.
Oh, of course.
And then you like to do the thing. But I know you've got a real passion and a love for the south of England, haven't you?
Well, when I was living in England, I was always painting the southern English landscape, because that's what inspired me most. Sussex, Surrey, Hampshire, maybe even Dorset, where I have family there, dairy farmers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
The southern home counties. I have a real passion for the landscape there.
Mm. Yeah. Because I've seen some of your videos and things that you've made along the way, and it's quite fascinating to be able to follow someone's loves and likes through their art and video making and things like that. And yeah, you're right. It'd be great when we can all get together again and have and hopefully be able to shake hands.
Well, I mean, I think the whole issue of COVID has been rather exaggerated, and it's become political. But let's not go down that road.
Yeah, no, we want to try to steer clear of that. There's too many.
There are far better.
No, don't want to go down. Yeah, but I've been out this morning. I actually been into Singleton.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I went out. I woke up at silly o'clock this morning at 5:20, and got straight up. And I thought, you know what? It's a bit windy, which it is. And it has been for the last couple of days. So I popped into Singleton. I had a wander around there. Hopefully got some decent footage to make a video. Took some photographs. So that was charming. Got St Mary's Church there, which is nice.
I do like your videos, because there is they're so unpretentious, and you're just such a natural behind the camera. I mean,
it was strange because I only started doing this about 2 years ago. And again, it was through Richard Vobes that I started doing it, taking my mobile phone out, and which I've got one just sat here now. And and Richard kept saying, "Not like this, do it like that." And it was strange because I just enjoyed doing it straight away. But I try and find out a little bit of information. I don't try and pack my videos with endless reams of information, or whatever you want to call it. I just try and put over to people what I'm seeing as I'm walking around. And for me, that seems to work.
Yeah, I agree. I always think that the story is the most important part of any film, any video.
Yeah. Well, I've moved on from my mobile phone now to a GoPro 7 Black, I think it is.
Okay, that's what I use.
Yeah, and I've gone on to the Zoom field recorder, audio recorder, which I find better. It just means more editing when you're editing everything together. But it was the editing that I found most difficult.
Well, you use DaVinci Resolve as well, don't you? Yeah. I mean, I use that, and on a kind of surface level, you can edit very nice films. It has tremendous potential, and I'm still struggling to come to terms with all the possibilities that it can offer.
I'll pop onto YouTube and look for ideas of how to do things, or or even Richard. Richard's very kind with his time and giving me information. When I first started using DaVinci, I found it very, very difficult to get on with.
Yeah.
But with Richard, did a couple of short tutorials.
That's right.
So that I could then, I've got an old laptop which I can play them back on, and then that's how I started picking things up. And I don't do too bad at the moment, so I'm quite pleased with them.
Good, good. Now, slightly changing the subject, you sent me a picture earlier today of a naked piece of ground.
Yes, this is a project.
Yeah,
this is the project in my garden. I put my back lawn down to turf a few years ago, and there's one area which I had a seating area in, but I've moved everything right back. And where this piece of turf went down, it's never become anything much. And you very kindly sent some seeds, wildflower seeds over. So the idea is that bit of ground is going to have a little footpath going through it to my seating area, but that bit of ground is going to become a wildflower garden.
Super.
Great. So, so that was the first stage, but I've ended up with this, Andrew.
As I said, that's what gloves were invented for. I sent out packets to 9 people in total.
Yeah.
And they've all said that they're going to keep me up to date with progress. It'll be interesting to compare one garden.
Well, I've taken photographs, which you asked me to do, and I've also filmed it. So as each stage is being done, I'm going to take more photographs and film it again, and then put a little video together, and hopefully it'll all come out. So sometime next year, well, hopefully we might have some flowers coming up there.
Yeah, good, good, good.
I must admit, it wasn't my idea to do that. It was Cynthia Walder's.
Good old Cynthia.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. she comes out with some good ideas sometimes. I can't give her too much credit, otherwise she'll be but she's very happy at the moment, Andrew, because she became a grandmother for the 2nd time yesterday. To a little grandson, Dougie, his name is. So she's very happy.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So Andrew, I think at that point I'm going to try and get to the timing thing here, which I can't see for some reason.
Where's that? 25 minutes.
Sorry, say again.
About 25 minutes, I think.
Oh, that's not too bad then. I can't find it for some reason. It seems to have disappeared. And I'm trying to do this very gently because I don't want to wobble my table. So Andrew, look, I think we'll leave that one there for now. And then what I will say is, Andrew, thank you very much for your time. It's been a joy to talk to you. And we'll do this again.
For me too. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, and hopefully I can. Yeah. So we'll do that, and we'll get another one done sometime. And hopefully I'll be able to do some other chats with some other people along the way, and bring them all to you.
Yeah, try Kim Merton. She's such an interesting person.
Oh yeah, Kim. She's a herbalist.
Yeah.
Okay, I will. I'll certainly message her, and I'll see how this one all comes out. And if it doesn't come out very well, I might say this is the only one.
We'll do it again.
Yes, indeed. No, I've been thoroughly enjoyed it, Andrew. It's been great.
Yeah.
So anyway, Andrew, thanks for your time. Take care, and I'll see you soon.
You too, Kevin. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye then.
Bye.